Erev Tov. Welcome to all of you joining us live tonight or listening in the future on the Finding Holiness podcast on our website, www.findingholiness.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you hear your podcasts. We are presenting to you part 3 of our new series, which we call Community Matters. And if you are listening right now, it's probably because community matters to you. Here we get to speak to local Jewish community members and activists about their achievements, their ambitions, and their aspirations. We discuss how they work to shape the Jewish community at large, the issues that they tackle, and how they find holiness in the work that they do. Tonight's guest is a person who I deeply respect for his devotion towards the welfare of the underprivileged of the community. Mr. Joseph Benchimol, Joe Benchimol, founded Maot Hittim over 35 years ago to ensure that families in need are provided with the basic necessities to conduct the holiday of Pesach, the Pesach Seder, that, believe it or not, is just over 2 weeks away. For those unaware of the term, Maot Hittim, or Kimcha de Pischa, is actually codified in Shulchan Aruch, the Jewish code of law, to obligate, and I repeat, obligate every Jew to provide money to the poor so that they can purchase flour to bake matzot. Every Jew is obligated in the mitzvot of Pesach, and often this can be very difficult for many families who are in dire straits financially or emotionally. So I am extremely thrilled and happy to welcome to tonight's program Mr. Joseph Benchimol. Mr. Benchimol, how are you doing? Long time no see. What's going on?
Very much. Very good. Working hard, preparing for Pesach, and is a lot of work to prepare.
I can imagine. I don't know who doesn't work hard before Pesach. I think the entire Jewish world is stress level 10 plus, and for you it must be, what can I say, exponentially greater than that. We have a lot of people listening tonight. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you were born, when did you come to Canada, a little bit of your story here in Toronto.
Sure. My name is Joseph Benchimol, and I was born in Morocco. My parents did Aliyah to Israel in 1959. I was a soldier in the Israeli army. I fought the 1967 war. After the war, and from the stress of the war, my parents sent me to visit my brother in Toronto. And I stayed for a while here. I met my wife in PTYO. I'm sure a lot of people know what is PTYO.
A lot of people know PTYO.
And we were married in 1972.
PTYO stands for the Petah Tikva Youth Organization, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. Together we have 4 beautiful girls and grandkids. God bless them all. This year in October will be 50 years of marriage. And I'm proud of a membership that I have in Petah Tikva congregation. I'm one of the founder of Maot Hittim.
That's of course that's an unbelievable biography to begin with. The fact that you served the state of Israel, you fought the war, you put your life on the line, representing Eretz Israel, Medinat Israel. That in itself is probably a huge story. Before we get into the Maot Hittim, is there any part of that war that resonates with you? A part that you just can't forget? I know it must have been a surreal experience, a scary one for sure.
It was a very stressful, and I was young. I was only 20 years old. And I volunteered because they didn't call me. The way they used to call, they used to be sisma. A sisma is a passage or a password on the radio, and you knew, so you had to go to your machane. And they didn't call me, and I felt very left out. And I volunteered. I took a car, and somebody drove me over there. A volunteer. They saw me on the road, and they took me to the machane, and they would not accept us. So we were about 50 people. We lie down on the entrance of the machane, and nobody could come in and out until the commander came out, and he took us inside, and he accepted us. And from there is a long story.
Wow.
It was not an easy thing to see
I can't.
my own brothers fall and look for my brother. And my brother was alive, but I was looking for him because I saw all his group that were coming up to Syria, and I could not find them. And I was looking for them 3 days. And
That's unbelievable. We have a bunch of members in our community that fought with you in 1967.
Yes.
And listen, it was a war. Anyone that studies a little bit of the history of it, we thought we were doomed. We thought there was not a chance. Like, how are we going to defeat these armies? And it was the Nisim Beniflaot and Yad Hashem, exactly.
But that was Hashem. It was a miracle, one after the other. At that time, I was only 20 years old, and I was not a Shomer Shabbat. And that was my first time in my life that I read Birkat HaDerech. First time in my life. Seeing so many things happening around me.
Unreal. So you said your parents sent you here just to escape, I guess,
we escaped
the atmosphere, and you come here to visit your brother who was living here at the time. So where did the idea spark to do something for the community? Did something happen in your time here? Maybe it happened in Israel prior, where you said, you know what, I have to do something for the community. What happened? What changed that flipped a switch in your mind?
We were living in Robert Hicks, in the Ravine in Finch, and we had few Moroccans that live over there. Mr. Jimmy Vaturi and I, we used to learn with Rabbi Aferiat. And a few days before Passover, Mr. Vaturi came and he told me, Joe, I went out shopping for items for Passover, and we helped this couple of families that they're in need around this area. That shook me. I about 4 years before that, I did a big teshuvah, and I was very sensitive into things, holy things. I was very sensitive of that, and that moment made me want to help the community.
So it was there, like when you see your friends, when you see people that all of a sudden, often you see people every day, and you don't know their situation, right? And that's a good thing. That's a good thing because
it could be sitting beside you in the shul, or you can be a friend that you see every day. You don't know people that they don't want to come out and say, I need help.
I'm struggling.
And they're struggling, their pride, or we have.
And along comes your friend, Mr. Jimmy Vaturi, who I know very well, and informs you this, and it's probably like a big shock because I
didn't believe that there is, like many people that I went after that to ask for help, for donation for Maot Hittim, that they told me that there is no people that they need in Toronto, Jewish people. No, doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. There's a lot of people, probably until today. Some people don't believe that these people in need. So
It's unfortunate. Throughout Jewish
it's
history,
unfortunate.
we've lived through very, very difficult times. I always say that you read often in the Gemara. The Gemara speaks so much about the poor,
Yeah,
and the
right.
situation of Ani can do
Now,
this because they lived with poor people were the majority of the Jews.
our
And
leaders, our own leaders, our Chachamim, our Gedolim, we learn, we hear that how they live. They live with the one shulchan, one table, one chair, and that's what they learn, what they ate, what they everything. They didn't have no luxuries.
it's unreal. And so the I guess the idea of Maot Hittim was born from that conversation
Right.
that you had. So tell us a little bit more about this. Is what we're here tonight because you founded Maot Hittim. Who does it service? How far does it expand? It must have grown, unfortunately, a lot more, than the two families that you were told about on that day. What exactly goes on the day-to-day basis in the preparations for this? And again, how far does it reach? How many people are you servicing?
Like I said before, Rabbi Afuriat and Mr. Vaturi started Maot Hittim.
Okay.
But that year, and I joined the year after that. The numbers of family rose, so we did the distribution at the Rabbi Afuriat garage, and we, make it in short, we to teach or to learn the mitzvah of giving. We used to invite the kids of Ora Emet to come and help and do packages and to help in deliveries, and that give us a lot of courage to go and keep on going and looking for money or whatever it was to be able to help people. Few years after that, Rabbi Afuriad moved to New York. Mr. Vaturi moved to Florida. Mr. Myers Azaguri joined us when we started in the garage of Rabbi Afuriat. So I asked him, would you join me to keep Maot Hittim going? And he agreed. So I had an office space in my warehouse, and we started working from there. We had, at that time, already we had over 100 families. We have over 100 families. And I started in my office, and I have pictures for that and everything, all these kids that they were helping.
And are these just Sephardic families or
Yeah.
also Ashkenazi families?
You see, at that time, we had most were Sephardim. Most Sephardim. And then, from word to word, another person come, and what I learned is somebody, Mashit Yad, extend his hand, you have to help. So that's my way of doing things, and that's what I did all my life. So it was very difficult to get funds for, so we can. It was difficult to collect money. So we started sending letters to the members of the community, announcing it in the synagogues, calling people, and the amount of families grew to over 200 families. So what I did, I moved some of my equipment in my warehouse to be able to do the packaging and the distribution and prepare for deliveries. There were so many packages, and I just want to show one of these pictures, just to show.
Yeah, wow.
The boxes. That's in one side.
You even have a picture, I think, of a student there helping from Or Hamet back in the day. Yeah. That was
This is Albert Azagori and his father.
yeah, yeah,
And then the kids of, let me see.
yeah. There it is. Chesed at a young age. That's beautiful to see.
That's
It's beautiful to see the people coming out and helping.
Kids from Maot Hittim. So let me tell you, this book that become a big production. I have to thank so many people that help to pack and deliver these packages all over the city. Maot Hittim lasted so long and so many years, and God willing, with many years more to help people, thanks to Hashem's shelichim, the donors. And I thank them for participating in this big mitzvah of chesed. And they are part of all the miracles, and I repeat, the miracles of Maot Hittim. Big miracles happen every day that we worked over there. And we were amazed. We saw the miracles.
You know, you mentioned that it's a miracle for the leaders of the organization, such as you know, unsure where these funds are going to come from, and then Baruch Hashem, you have members of the community open their hands and say, "Here, take." But even from the vantage point of those receiving, those people who are unfortunate, the people that are hours before Pesach and they don't have what to eat, they don't know if they're going to have the matzah for the seder night or the wine or the chicken or the meat or whatever it is, and you know how do they go about it? For them, it's a huge miracle that all of a sudden you have people that care about them, that are providing them and can enjoy this, you know, the night of the seder with simcha and glad and Yom Tov, and for them it's the greatest miracle.
You know, I think, and I'm sorry I didn't record it, to hear one person talking to me and crying, and I cry with them. I cry with them, telling me their problems and their need of food for their kids. And I have few stories that I have to tell, so we know exactly what's happening in these houses, and that's what it is.
So you've been doing this now for quite a while. If I can ask you to, has it changed? Like compare it to what it was back then to what is it now? Is it getting easier? Is it getting more difficult? Both. In what ways are you more challenged? Are you more put to the test? In what ways are you excelling and succeeding in maybe ways that you couldn't imagine before? How is it different? How is it similar?
I would like first to tell you a couple of stories that I had few experiences, lots of stories that went through
Sure
years, and I'm going to share a couple of them with you. A long time ago, we didn't have a lot of people delivering, helping to deliver. So I used to, Mr. Mayor Azaguri used to load this car and deliver. I used to load my company truck and go and deliver. We were young and strong, and we could do it a lot. So one time I delivered to this building, and I put the boxes, 2-3 boxes of food in front of the door. I knock at the door, and I ran to the elevator so they don't see me. So unfortunately, the elevator didn't come fast enough. This lady came out and she thanked me. Thank you. And she blessed me. I said, I'm sorry. It's not me. Somebody downstairs You just give me these boxes to deliver. And I brought them for you. But she kept on blessing me. The reason that I told her that, I left and I went to my truck and I sat over there for half an hour. The reason that I told her that story is that I knew the lady personally, a member of our community, and I didn't believe it. I sat in my truck crying because I felt like in a way all these things with Maot Hittim made me very sensitive, made me part of them, and just I was devastated to hear this lady, to see this lady that I know, and she's in my community. I didn't believe it. Is that possible? That people that I know, they're in need, and nobody comes to help? And the truth, you never know who is in trouble and need for your help. That's the truth. Another time, I delivered a couple of boxes to this sick lady. She was sick, an old lady, and I came to her door. I put the boxes. I knocked at the door, and I walked away. She opened the door, and she asked me, "Please, can you help me put it in my fridge?" I ran to help. I took the boxes. I went to the fridge. I took it inside the house. I opened the fridge. The fridge was open, not even water in the fridge. And I said to her, "Wow, you already cleaned the fridge for Pesach." She said, "No, this is my fridge, empty fridge." She broke my heart. And tell the truth, we have brothers, sisters all over. They don't come out to tell you that they're in need, but they're in need. They need our need. They need our help, especially every day they need the help, but especially in Pesach, that the stuff is so expensive, so hard to get. And I think we should open our hearts and our hands and our pockets. And that I'm not saying just come and give it to Maot Hittim. There is a lot of organizations out there, like Ozer Dalim, Kayla, the
Ezrat Achim.
Ezrat Achim, that they help every single day, every Shabbat. Please open your hearts and help these people.
So in that aspect, not much has changed. You still have to face the people. You still have to feel their pain, and you still get heavily drained with emotion. Watching this, and it makes no difference whether it's the 1970s, 80s, or 2020s. This is the reality of life, and you're a big part of it. And was there ever a time where you thank Hashem and say, "Thank you for giving me this opportunity and being His messenger," because you are right now Hashem's messenger in performing this great mitzvah?
I thank Him every day for giving me this opportunity and that privilege to be able to go up there and have the faith to ask people and the strength to ask people to help these people. And believe it or not, I'm talking about few years ago, I came to few people. I said, I don't believe that there is poor people in Toronto, especially in the Jewish community. So there is that kind of people, and thank God, every single day Some people they just come straight to me. I don't ask them for anything. They bring me the check to my door, or they come to Shure and they give me the check. They come to my office. They bring them the check. Today there is a, thank God, Baruch Hashem, there is a lot of good people out there that they care.
Yeah, anyone that believes, and we're just going to show the website if you want to donate. There's a website right there, petatikva.ca/donate. We'll post it later as well. Anybody that thinks that there is no poor people in the Jewish community is beyond ignorant, and should have a short conversation with any rabbi of a synagogue or any people like you, and to face reality that this is not something that is it's not a joke, it's not a laughing matter. These families grow constantly, and things need to be done, and you are the person that is doing it, and you've been doing it for such a long time. And I ask you, and I ask you this openly, 35 years, like that is a very long time. That's over 3 decades. Have you ever thought, or has it ever crossed your mind that you said, okay, you know what, I did my service, maybe it's time I got to give it to somebody else. Maybe I should pass it on, the mitzvah. How do you keep yourself motivated doing this for 35 years? The pressure is so immense to fundraise, to find the money, not knowing, am I going to have the funds to support this family, to keep giving from yourself? Is there ever a time, or was there ever a time where you said, you know what, I don't know if I can do this anymore? And is there a part of you that says that you wish that maybe other people come and join and help? Or how do you do it?
After approximately 35 years or 38 years, it's very, very hard for me to give it away. I don't know if I'm sure that is somebody there that can do a better, 100% better than me. But it's so difficult for me to give it up, because I know these people from their voice on the phone, or personally, or they came to my office, they present themselves to my office, and they sat with me and they cried to me and they tell me their problems. And sometimes I have to act like a in a way like a rabbi, to tell them, to advise, and to tell them to look, and not only that, I call these people every year, every one of them, every person in my list, I call them personally. They know my voice. Some people don't know me. Mostly of the people, they don't know me. And to make sure that if anything changed in their family, if their address is correct, or is anything that they need immediately, that happens from Purim until today. Every single day, I call 15, 20, 30 families, depending on how long is my conversation with them. And I thank Hashem. In every year, I have 1, 2 to 3 families that they tell me, Mr. Benchimol, I don't need any help this year. My tears come out of happiness to know that somebody is doing better, and some of them, they said, Mr. Benchimol, can I send you a check? Those people that every year, for years, I was helping. And the truth, to tell you the truth, is that yes, I want you to give me a check. Because you know what? You have to learn how to give. And Hashem will help you for whatever you want. I blessed every person when I phone. I blessed them, and may Hashem help them. And just to hear these people that they're okay makes me gives me a lot of happiness, and it's like an accomplishment.
To hear that a person doesn't need the assistance anymore, that has to be the biggest success that you pray for. You pray, we all pray that there is no need for a Maot Hittim, right? And that we don't have to provide. That's the ultimate goal, but that's not the reality. Over the past many years that you've been doing this, what was this, I'll call it, for lack of a better term, the scariest moment that you've had, the biggest challenge that you faced? Where was there a time where you're like, oh my gosh, I might not be able to do this year? Were things so serious and dire that you really were scared?
To tell the truth, it's a lot of miracles. A lot of miracles. Open eye miracles. And I'm so sensitive to it because I work with that. I work with these people, and they made me very sensitive into that matter. And take Hashem. I just have to ask Hashem, and He's there. And I have a story to say, and I wanted to tell that to the community, to these people, that for the future community leaders, that I wanted to tell them that to be a community leader is a privilege, and that's I have to say and give an advice to these people that, God willing, they'll come out and help the community, because we need a lot of help in every way, in everything we do every day. But before I have a story to tell them, and whoever does anything in the community is Avodat Hashem, is the work of Hashem, is the Yad Hashem that is with us when we do something. And I have a story to tell. But before I go and tell you the story, I would like to tell you that every year I go out, I buy all the thousands of dollars of food, starting with matzah, chmura, matzah, wine, meats, from the salt to the vinegar, everything, whatever we buy from our house, that's what they get in the boxes. And not only that, I give them a check if there's anything that I missed to put in that box. And Baruch Hashem always works. And I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me a few years ago. One year, I was short $22,000. I didn't know what to do. I said, I already delivered all the stuff. I made checks to all the families. I purchased everything. And every year, what I do, whatever I got left, if you know Bet El, there is a rabbi over there. He comes and I load his truck, and he takes it and he does Pesach for the orderly over there. And I help other. I do all the people from other communities, right? So one year I was short $22,000. I already pushed everything. I give the checks, and I didn't know what to do. So the suppliers used to call me. They called me and I told them, please give me a couple of weeks. If I cannot, don't worry, you're going to get paid, and I'm going to get the donors to help me out. And I was ready to pay them from my own money, but I said, I sat in my office, and I spoke to Hashem. I told them, Hashem, I did the work that you gave me to do. I did it. Now, please help me out to get these funds so I can pay these people. So next year, I can get credit from them. And I left her like that. These 2-3 days after that, this gentleman came to my door. This guy came every year and give me a check. Came to my office, give me a check, and he said, Joe, Slacha, I don't want no receipt, and this is by Seter. I don't want nobody to know. And he left every year. That year he came, was so happy, he came to my office, he knocked at my office, he come in. I know him very well. So he said, Joe, you know what happened? Yesterday, I had the best deal that I have in my life. I sold everything, and I made good money. Here's your check. Please, don't forget. I don't want no receipt. And this is Baseter. I accompany him to the door. I do that with everybody who comes to my office. I came back to my office. I opened the envelope. I opened the check. $22,000.
Wow.
I start shaking. I start crying. Lift my eyes to Hashem. And thank him for listening to my prayer. I called this person and I told him the story. He started crying. I said, why are you crying? He said, I'm crying over happiness that Hashem shows me to have that deal, to be able to give you that kind of money. That's really Yad Hashem. Hashem, you do the avodat Hashem. Hashem is there for you. The Munah is no end to my Munah, because I know Hashem is always there when I ask Him for our help, and I always ask help for other people. That's my thing. I never ask for me. I ask for other people that Hashem helps them. And thank God.
Well, that's a story that's gonna, first of all, it's gonna be online for a very, very long time, and I'm so happy that we're gonna have hundreds of people hear that story, because that's one to remember, and the people listening tonight should just know what the power of tefillah is. Power of tefillah is you do everything that you can, you pull every string that you know, you dial every phone number that you have.
You stop.
And often, many people just, I always ask him, but did you stop to ask Hashem? Did you stop and to open your siddur and say, God, this is what I need. I've done everything I could. I just need this. And then it hits them. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I didn't ask God. Why not? Hashem is there listening. Shomea tefillah. Hashem wants us to come to Him and pray to Him. That's what He wants. He's chafetz the tefillot of the tzaddikim. He loves our tefillot, and why not? And why not? That's an unbelievable story. You have a very big fundraising event happening this Sunday.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that, and another way for people to come and donate to Maot Hittim and have fun at the same time.
Well, I just wanted to mention something that I wanted to answer the question that you asked me before.
Oh, okay, fine. Let's go back to that. That's the difference between back then and now?
Right.
Oh, okay, fine. So we're going back to that. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go touch upon that, but okay.
Just wanted to touch because that came out before. We started about 10 with 10 families with Rabbi Afiriat in his garage. From there, we grew to over 200 families, and having my warehouse expand room to be able to do packaging and getting ready for deliveries. Obviously, fundraising has changed from picking up a telephone and having events. And then COVID hit, which changed everything. And in fact, this year is the first time in 2 years that we can have an event. And is this Sunday, April the 3rd, our annual poker and bingo night is at 7:30 p.m. It's lots of fun, a great date night, and all the proceeds goes to Maot Hittim.
So there you go. That's going to take place at Petah Tikva Congregation, 29 Gannon. And you can join and have fun and play. If poker is not your thing, then bingo. Who doesn't love bingo, right?
Right.
You can have fun for there, and there's some food, of course, and drinks, and
it's no money on the tables. No money.
No money on the table. Just
money is at Maot Hittim.
That's
the money
right.
that comes in is only for Maot Hittim.
That's it. And I know you
prizes. We have big prizes. We have 2 tickets to Israel.
Wow.
We have other prices, jewelry, and
beautiful. That's amazing. So again, everybody listening tonight, if you're listening to this next year, don't go on April the 3rd because it's going to be a different day. But if you're listening to this year in 2022, then make sure to get out there and support. And I know you did mention a piece of advice to all the young future community leaders, but maybe one more thing. We have a lot of people listening right now, and what advice would you give them to encourage them, to take upon themselves a leadership role, especially when it comes to Maot Hittim, community matters. What can you tell them to put their foot forward to encourage them and inspire them?
To work for a community is a privilege, and it's a voluntary thing, but gives you a lot of strength to want to do more, and always have faith in God that is there to help you with anything you do for your community. Hashem is always there to help you. Always ask Hashem for help. And our community needs a lot of young people, that the leaders that can drive this community into the future. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of satisfaction, a lot of happiness in it, and gives you a lot of strength to go ahead and do more and more and more.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I want to end off. Sometimes Hashem has a plan in store, even if you're still unsure where you're heading. So just before we went live, I spoke with you about the interview, and going over some of the things we were going to talk about, and you actually told me something very fascinating, and you said that for the last 2 years, because of COVID, you were forced to send out just video messages of yourself to inspire people to give to Maot Hittim, and that's all you could do. People were stuck at home, they were isolated. It wasn't easy, and you weren't sure what this year was going to be. You weren't quite sure what you were going to do or what you were going to say. and what you were going to publish in hopes to get the community to support Maot Hittim this year. And then you told me that all of a sudden, out of the blue, you get a phone call from me inviting you to the Community Matters series to talk about Maot Hittim.
This is another miracle.
That's another miracle. There you go. It's just one big min hashamayim.
Right.
And you know what? I am honored. I'm honored to be the min hashamayim for you. And if it means that people are going to step up and show their support, then that brings me no greater pleasure. And I'm happy to do this.
Thank you very much, Rabbi, for calling me and giving me the opportunity to open my heart to our community, and I hope that I open some hearts to listen to couple of stories that I said, and believe me, there is people in need out there, and they need us to be able to come and get them out of that bad situation that they are. And I beg of you guys, please open your heart. It doesn't have to be, has to help any organization that is helping these people. Doesn't matter which one, but help, please. And I thank you very, very much, Rabbi,
of course,
for giving me this opportunity to open my heart to my community that I love so much.
Well, listen, we love you. We love you very much for everything that you do. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You know, what you do for the community is so special. Everybody knows it. Anyone that knows you knows, you know, the effort, the tireless work, the sweat that you put forth to help those in need. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu continue to give you the strength needed to keep pushing, to keep striving, to keep inspiring others to step up. 50 years of marriage, that's unbelievable. Ad me'ah v'esrim to you and your amazing wife who supports you and allows you to spend long sleepless nights serving the community. Ad me'ah v'esrim shana b'briut etana v'atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedechem. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Another reminder to our audience, if you want to donate to Maot Hittim, the website is there posted on our screen, petatikva.ca/donate. You type in the words Maot Hittim at the box at the bottom. 100% of the proceeds go to families in need for Pesach. And of course, don't forget this coming Sunday, the poker and bingo event also at Petatikva congregation. We want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Don't forget to rate and review and subscribe to our podcast. And of course, we would love to have you join us. If you feel that you would be, you have something to share, or you know someone that would be perfect for this series, please reach out to me. And we always look for sponsors to this podcast, for the podcast. You can check us out at findingholiness.com for more information. You can contact me at findingholiness@gmail.com, or of course the website. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank again Mr. Benchimol for joining us. This was a fantastic discussion and talk. We want to wish you all a wonderful evening. Chag Pesach Kasher v'Sameach, and stay tuned for more exciting guests and what they have to offer to the community, what they've offered into the community in the past, and what they're willing to share. Wishing everybody a wonderful